Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 11th meeting of the Honolulu Liquor Commission. We have no minutes to approve this afternoon, so we will move directly into our calendar. Under public hearings, calling agenda item number 1, transfer application number 23-01552, New Kamana Kitchen.
Good afternoon, Chair, members of the Commission. Good news, Shield authorization of on behalf of the applicant. This is a continued public hearing.
So we did receive a supplemental report. Indicates that one of the members and managers had a felony on their record.
Correct. If I may address that, that came up prior to the initial public hearing on this matter. We continued it, tried to address that issue that was raised. However, upon receipt of investigators Fung's supplemental report yesterday, we realized and we're understanding that I think further work needs to be done to address the concerns raised therein. So we request a 1 week further continuance on this matter so that we may try to put in some work with the client to see what we can do to address those issues. And there is a temporary license which expires on next Friday, I believe.
Commissioners, any questions or comments to the licensees represented? If we can take it, I don't think we can do it.
So I don't have any other questions, but
Actually, it'd be good to hear it now in case we need to have them. We can get some questions out.
Oh,
now.
okay.
I'll do that. The commission may go into an executive session for the following reasons: to consult with the board's attorney on questions and issues on a matter pertaining to the board's powers, duties, privileges, immunities, and liabilities. I have a motion to go to executive session.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any objections, reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. We are now in executive session. Okay, we are back on the record. Thank you for allowing us time to go into executive session. We will continue this matter. We do want to make a few comments before we continue the matter. Of course, 281-45 is that issue that was addressed in the supplemental report. And we would expect some explanation addressing that issue. But that statute 281-45 goes to the greater issue of making sure any member of an LLC is fit and proper to be a member of an entity that will be a licensee. And there are many factors for whether a person is fit and proper. Of course, 281-45 deals with felonies, and that is certainly one. But there are other factors, and in particular, discrepancies in paperwork. And we did notice in the personal history and affidavits, there was a representation that there was no felony, which appears to be incorrect. So next week, when you do come back, we would appreciate an explanation as to that as well, in the broader context of whether an individual is fit and proper. Commissioners, any other comments for the applicant's representative? No? Okay, so just a point of order, Mr. I, do we need a date certain for this because it's a public hearing?
Yes, well, I believe the request is to continue to next week, the 21st, Mr. Nishoka.
Yes,
Okay,
if possible.
yeah, and then just indicate public kept open.
Okay.
That's it.
So agenda
Thank you.
item number 1 is continued to September 21st with the public hearing kept open. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving into license applications, calling agenda item number 2, applications number 24-00393-1 through 24-00393-11 from 17A Productions LLC.
Hi, good afternoon.
Can you state your name for the record?
Oh, Rick Shibasaki, RICKSHIBASAKI, sorry.
Good afternoon. Yeah, so this is a special application for a Halloween pop-up,
Yes,
and you've done these previously, correct?
yeah, well, this is our second year at the location that's on record,
Mhm.
1585 Kapiolani. We will be opening on September 29th to the 31st, so 33 days, so 11 special events licenses.
And for this license, it'll be operated as a bar or restaurant, correct?
Just bar.
In structure.
Yes.
And it'll be an over 21, is that right?
No minors though.
Okay.
Same concept as last season.
Mhm.
And then we just did the 80s, the alpha video, which was very successful.
Commissioners?
That answers my question. I was like, I thought that's a new video star. I was like, I don't know about
We had a
that.
lot of people come in and ask if we're renting videos.
There's a joke by today and it's all boarded up. I was like, okay, I guess it
I
ain't.
mean,
video
like,
stuff.
and they were all like middle-aged, single man, you know.
Very interesting. Okay. That was my only question.
Okay, despite that insult, I move that we approve applications number 24-00393-1 to 24-00393-11 inclusive.
Second.
On a motion and a second, any objections, reservations? Hearing and seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Applications number 23-00393-1 through 24-00393-11 are approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And you'll stay right there for agenda item number 3, applications number 24-00394-1 through 24-00394-10 inclusively from 17A Productions LLC.
Yes, applying for December 1st, open date till the 30th.
And sorry, could you state your name again?
Oh, sorry, Rick Shibasaki, RICKSHIBASAKI.
So this is your Christmas Winter Wonderland.
Correct.
This also will not have minors, it's still a bar concept
First concept, yes.
and same space, same security, same structure.
Yeah.
Commissioners?
I have no questions.
All right, I move we approve application number 24-00394-1 through 24-00394-10 inclusive.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any objections or reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Applications number 24-00394-1 through 24-00394-10 inclusively are approved.
All right, thank you. Nice to see you guys.
Calling agenda item number 4, application number 24-00432 from 808 Rise Corp. Definitely.
Good afternoon. Derek Stevens, DERRICKSCEVENS with Free Spirits LLC. And to my right is Benton Maramoto, BENTONMARUMOTO. And we have no further changes to the investigative report.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. So the fall festival is back. I just had one question on the floor plan. I see that it's a portion, at least the licensed area is a portion of the parking lot. How is that going to be delineated so that people know where?
So the back area of the bar itself is gonna be walled off by just like a wall structure.
Mhm.
And the front is gonna be just kettle guarded and double gated so that nobody can pass alcohol over it.
Great, thanks. Commissioner?
So, the only thing is, reading through the, questions. It does talk about you guys have, worked with the schools that you're gonna use or the areas you're gonna park, but if people park in Alexander Baldwin, there isn't, their stalls, you guys don't have anything at this point. If you can kind of work with them to see if there is somebody that happens to be stuck like that,
Yeah.
we don't want them driving.
Yeah.
We'd rather them be able to park there without having a problem.
That's being addressed already and they're okay with it. We just think we have to be obviously aware of this, but they're okay with it.
That's the only question or comment.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay, I move we approve application number 24-00432.
Second,
There's been a motion, a second, and the objections, reservations, hearing seeing none. I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 24-00432 is approved. Thank you, gentlemen. Have a good event. Calling agenda item number 5, application number 24-00464 from Island Socials LLC.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. With this matter, request that it be rescheduled to next week's meeting, September 21. The applicant didn't realize they needed to appear today. They will be ready next week.
And I presume that date is satisfactory.
Yes.
All right, okay, thank you. Agenda item number 5 is continued to September 21st calendar date. Calling agenda item number 6, applications number 24-00475-1 through 24-00475-27 inclusively from Park Event Services LLC. I got it.
Kevin Cobra representing Park Event Services LLC.
Yeah, with respect to this matter, we're also requesting that this matter be continued to the September 21 agenda. Certain of the dates that are listed need to be revised and then republished. So we need that additional week.
Okay, is that correct, Mr. Cobal?
Yes,
1 week, you said, Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Okay, so agenda item number 6 is continued to the September 21st calendar date.
thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Moving into preliminary hearings, calling agenda item number 7, application number 23-01638 from the Poo House LLC, DBA Kiki's Tiki Bar.
Good afternoon. To my right is also me, he's a member of for the applicant. He is present with Council Wayne Luke. We have no changes to the investigators report. They have been operating on a temporary license since April, and so far they haven't had any problems.
Thank you. And this is in connection also with agenda item number 8, which is downstairs restaurant. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
same situation.
Commissioners?
I have questions.
I move we approve application number 23-01638.
Second,
It's been a motion and a second, and the objections or reservations, hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 23-01638 is approved. Calling agenda item number 8, application number 23-01641 from the Poo House LLC, DBA the Poo House.
Also, Lee, member is present with Council Wayne Luke. We have no changes to the investigators report
Thank you, Mr. Luke. And this has also been operating on a temporary.
since
schedule
April.
With
Yes,
no issues.
no problems.
Thank
So
you.
far.
Commissioners?
I have a question.
Okay, I move we approve application number 23-01641.
Second,
Been a motion and a second. Any objections or reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 23-01641 is approved.
Thank you.
Calling agenda item number 9, application number 23-01951 from Sky Kapiolani Hotel LLC.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Commission members, Kenneth Wu appearing for the applicant to my right. Mr. Young, Y-O-U-N-G, John, J-U-N, Choi, C-H-O-I. He is the Chief Financial Officer of the applicant and also an authorized agent. We received this is a application for a condo hotel license. We received the licensing investigative report. We also received the licensing supplemental report, which appears to answer the questions that were raised in the licensing report with regard to the number of units in the condo hotel to satisfy the requirement. I inadvertently just didn't list them all. So we believe that answered those questions. I do have just a few other comments with regard to the licensing investigative report, if I may.
Please do.
Okay. On page 2 of the report under common areas, shared area at the top. We just want to make clear that the 8th floor, which has most of the amenities, also includes the pool bar. That was on the floor plan that we submitted. We enclosed it in red, but we just, since that was not listed, we just want to make sure that the commission is aware of that. Secondly, under the section, unlike going further down, the paragraph that says the applicant's sole manager, JL Alamoana LLC, has applied for a condo hotel operator license. It's actually the manager of the hotel, which is Highgate Hotels LP, which has applied for the condo hotel license, condo hotel operator license. With that, we have no further comments.
And with 2 licenses being applied for, they're covering different spaces within the hotel.
I'm sorry, this is a condo hotel license. It's covering the whole hotel. So there's only one license.
Oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood you then. Thank you.
Right. The condo hotel operator license is something that's required
I see.
to file for a condo hotel license.
Thank you for that clarification. Okay. Commissioners?
So just so I can understand, so instead of it being Sky Kapilani LLC, right, it's actually Highgate. So the applicant Highgate is under contract to purchase a licensed premise, correct?
No,
No.
the Sky.
Okay, sorry, I got you. The one below, right? Applicant sole manager.
Right.
Alamoana, that's.
Well, that's the manager of the LLC, which is Sky Kapilani Hotel LLC, which is the applicant for
Okay,
the condo hotel. Since it is a condo hotel, they have a manager
okay,
for the hotel.
okay.
And that is Highgate
Oh, okay,
Properties LP. Yeah.
Okay. I was just trying to read where you're
Yeah, I-
Highgate in
you know,
your report, so I
I'm
just wanted to
just
make sure I know where I'm at.
I'm grateful for licensing that they were able to decipher all the mixing up of things and all the different parties.
Got it. Okay. I have no other questions, understand. Thank you.
Okay, I move we approve application number 23-01951.
Second,
Then a motion and a second. Any objections, reservations here and seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 23-01951 is approved.
Thank you.
Moving into licensing, license applications, calling agenda item number 10, application number 24-00451 from Cheeseburger and Paradise Waikiki.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the commission, Mr. Ryan, Robert Uyoka on behalf of Cheeseburger in Paradise. Present to my right, Mr. Nick Stewart. He's a general manager. We have no changes in the investigators report. This is for a catering application for 808 Craft House located restaurant in the Colina Center. We did file a restaurant application in December 2022, which is pending.
So this is to help get you to the permanent.
Absolutely, I really appreciate it having it available.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner?
I have no
I move we approve application number 24-00451.
second,
It's been a motion and a second. Any objections, reservations? Hearing seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Application number 24-00451 is approved.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, gentlemen. Moving to requests, calling agenda item number 11, request number 24-00277 from Grass Shack Industries LLC, DBA Manoa Chocolate Hawaii.
Good afternoon. My name is Dylan Butterbaugh. And Nathan Chang, and we are looking to do a temporary increase to our premises.
And on your map, is it that sliver on the back?
Correct.
Commissioners?
So question, what is going to be delineating the extended space?
We're just gonna have some tables outside and see if people are happy sitting outside.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay, so you it's, I thought, I wasn't sure if I read, but I thought somewhere so you guys gonna have someone set out there, right, to watch the area?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, yeah, just want to make sure we don't have guys handing off to somebody else as they running by for all we know, and you know, that's the main thing.
Good point.
Okay, I have no other questions.
Okay. I move we approve request number 24-00277.
Second,
Been a motion and a second, any objections or reservations, hearing seeing none, I also vote aye, the motion carries. Request number 24-00277 is approved.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you.
Calling agenda item number 12, request number 24-00364 from Honolulu Brewing Company LLC.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joshua Kopp, last name is spelled Kopp. I am the managing member of Honolulu Brewing Company, and this is in reference to a temporary increase license for a special event that we have scheduled for Saturday, September 23rd. Yeah, any questions, welcome.
Yes, thank you. This is for Oktoberfest, correct?
Yes, so it is a special event just for Oktoberfest. The event will be taking place from 6 to 10. Essentially, we're going to be the interior of the brewery is going to be redone in Oktoberfest decorations, and to accommodate just some other fun activities. We got permission to extend out into the parking lot area behind our brewery. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners?
so on the parking, right, if they're using like the Ultras parking lot or 5 Ultra spots outside, if someone indulges quite a bit for Oktoberfest, are they gonna be able to leave their cars overnight?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for making sure that that's available for them. I have no other questions.
I move we approve request number 24-00364.
Second,
Been a motion and a second, any objections or reservations, hearing seeing none, I also vote aye, the motion carries. Request number 24-00364 is approved.
Thank you very much, guys. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you. Calling agenda item number 13, request number 24-00460 from Mai Tai Lounge LLC.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Commissioner Stephanie Fuller, representing White Town Lounge. To my right is Norm Warren, Warren. He is the GM for Mai Tais. The reason we are here today is because we were operating under that extension that we were given to the premises. And then kind of out of the blue, CPK decided to do some construction. They put up a big wall and it pretty much blocks out about half of the area that we were given. So we're needing to adjust the premises accordingly.
The amended floor plan is the second, correct? The dark black space is the amended floor plan on the second.
That big box you see, CPK, we're like, wow. We're not even quite sure what exactly they're doing. There's some sort of, they're adding in a terrace area.
they've seen how well you guys doing, so they figured they'd take some space. No.
We're trying not to look at it that way.
You were having events, okay, or that was just.
No, it's just,
typical
it was an outdoor
space.
area. Yeah, for when the music was playing on the weekends. That was actually requested by Alamana Center.
Oh, yeah,
that
I
they
remember that.
Do something like that, yeah. So,
Thank you for putting the descriptions and the barriers in, that's helpful on our.
you're welcome. Mr. Warren went to a lot of trouble to get those barriers. So.
Good. That's good. Commissioners, any other questions?
not have questions.
I move we approve request number 24-00460.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any objections, reservations? Hearing and seeing none. I also vote aye. The motion carries. Request number 24-00460 is approved.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Calling to agenda item number 14, request number 24-00473 from Kings Place.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the commission, Keith Kyuchi for the licensee. I think this is the first time asking for a waiver for alteration of premises. We often run into an issue when you have a transfer, in this case is a stock transfer is pending and the new owner wants to make some changes. And the timing kind of just doesn't sync because it takes a while to get alterations approved. The other problem that this points out is a lot of the floor plans on file with the commission go way back, in this case, 79 and 82. Granted, this establishment is in Waipahu, but we found that with a lot of bars because a lot of the hostess licenses tend to transfer by stock transfer rather than transfer the license. So they're not required to send in a new plan. That's why when I finally got the old floor plans, my suggestion, I would like the commission to approve, what we're going to do, and we detail what the contractor is going to do, subject to us providing within I think 14 days of completion of new floor plan, because I think the new floor plan is probably essential. And at some point, it will be kind of a monumental task, but going through a lot of the existing establishments, those floor plans at some point really need to be updated. So I thought, this was one way to go do that. It, shortens the process. I got somebody willing to, do this. The positive side, they're removing the strip stage, so.
Positive for some, no, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I do have a question,
Sure.
Mr. Kyuchi. So to what extent is the current floor plan not conforming to the existing floor plans that were submitted to the?
When I looked at the 82 submission, there's no way that dance stage is where it's located because it's in the middle of some booths. So that's also why I think what I'm going to do is have my consultant go out and do a revised floor plan. So I even think the 82 submission was incorrect. So because that stage is literally in the corner, it's not sitting between booths, which is kind of what the 82 floor plan shows. So yeah, I mean, there's some problems with that too. The only other change besides taking out the stage, physical changes, they were going to put in an additional storage closet, and you're going to ask me where it is. It's on, if you look at the 82 floor plan, it's a WH, that's where the closet is. And next to that on the left-hand side is like a desk. So they're going to demo the desk and they're going to extend that whole area for storage.
Are you guys following that? I can't actually see.
So you see the WH on the left side?
Yeah, it's a little down.
There's a small swinging door and it looks like almost a little closet. You see that? It's like midway on the left side.
I'm okay to trust you on it, just,
Yeah.
and I think it's admirable that we'll not see these folks with a violation of a floor plan. because
Which
you're
is,
kind of cleaning
which
it
is
all
part
up
of,
together.
which is part of the reason, but the previous owner had owned this place for like 20 years. And that's why you asked me to what extent does it resemble it?
Mhm.
I don't think that owner did very
Right.
many changes, but I mean, you can tell how dated it is when you got a little thing called disco machine in the plan. So it's like, yeah, well, you wait long enough, it might come back.
Mhm.
And I was gonna make a similar comment to Commissioner Hong. I actually like the thought process behind this because especially in the case of transfer applications, you have a timely transaction that's trying to move forward, but it's also the perfect time to make alterations for either the transferor or the transferee, depending on the negotiation. And we'll often see that picked up as a violation down the road.
Right.
So this anticipates that potential problem and asks us to address it now. So I appreciate the thought process behind this request. Yeah.
Mr. Chair, if you, since the licensing supervisor is in the audience or to the side there, perhaps you would like to give him an opportunity to
Yes. of
weigh
course.
in
Of course.
to the extent that this may be precedent setting.
Supervising Investigator Daniel Sato. Based on the comments from Mr. Kyuchi, it sounded like it was a increase.
Not an increase in the present, we're taking out the stage, we're increasing the storage area. That was like a little desk.
It's an alteration. and not
The
an increase. Is that
alteration,
what you're-
definitely is an alteration. The like here. Yeah, yeah, so that's gonna be a storage area extended out, that's a storage area now, but that's gonna be longer. There's only one. No, yeah, but see, this got chopped off, which is another problem with these old plans, you can see it better here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so we're not extending the premises. Does that make sense? The problem is that 82 plans literally got chopped off there. Yeah, I bet, which is the other problem. I mean, I actually should have brought this up a long time ago, because when I did the pagoda transfer, I found things there that were not there, so.
And Mr. Sato, what do you think of this approach in terms of trying to get a cleaned up floor plan when they stop transfers? So I would be all for a clean version of a floor plan. I just would be concerned as far as the coinciding of what we have on file and what he's gonna present may be totally different. And
Yeah.
with respect to the floor plans, if we can measure out the actual dimensions as is versus what is gonna come in after, because we don't wanna, have an increase or decrease that's significant, because that'll be a different statute.
And I would agree with that, because whenever these were done. You weren't required to have dimensions, because there are no dimensions on here, so, it creates an issue. And now I can tell you, there's one applicant, I had to go back 2 times to remeasure myself. But that's kind of what needs to be done, because I think the commission needs an accurate floor plan. And Mr. Sato knows, he's told me to scale. Also that has measurements on, because it's really, it's really hard to, say how many inches is this? So, yeah, this is a little bit of an effort on my part to clean it up, and appreciate Investigator Sato's suggestion. We'll put in the dimensions. I think that would help. Yeah.
So the main concern is the HRS 28162, which requires either the neighborhood board to be notified. So we would be kind of concerned as far as what our records show versus what we're gonna get. As far as that, and that's the HRS side. So I guess there's kind of 2 issues. One is there's the as is, which may or may not be accurate. And then there's the suggested changes, of which we're going to get brand new to scale. And there may be a discrepancy in the size, to which we may have to come back here for further action.
So.
That's a question, honestly.
Yeah, I don't have I don't think there has been a increase, or because I talked to the landlord whose family has owned it forever, but. I understand what he's saying. I don't have a problem if in finding this, it's got to go back in front of the commission for approval. So because he's right, there's got to be neighborhood board, notification, so.
So I guess a question would be to Mr. Sato or even to you, Mr. Gyuji, so if you have old floor plans that are in the 79s and 80s that don't have dimensions, right? And then we're getting guys that are transferring these now, right? And they're gonna have a new floor plan or a new idea. I guess how would you know whether it was or wasn't larger or not? Because we don't have actual numbers of the prior one. You know what I mean? I'm trying to understand how do we figure that then? I get what you're saying about the changes and what we need to do for the board. I just trying to figure out how would we know the size to begin with?
Okay, so historically, when investigative reports were done back in the 60s, 70s, or even the 80s. They were real keen on the description of the premises, and it was
Okay.
really detailed as far as the length and the width, and they kind of detailed out the specifics of each room. So our foundation would be starting from the investigative report as it was approved by the commission back then. And
Okay.
then work our way forward.
Okay, so we would know the size of approximate the length one way, length the other way, and that gives you the square footage in a sense, right? And then we now want to look at whether or not that square footage from there is less or equal. Or if it's more, then that's a bigger problem.
Correct, because, yeah, we'll just start from the inception of the license and move our way forward, because it could have changed throughout the years. and
Mhm.
We'll try to make a determination from there.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, right, if we don't know a number to start with, how are we gonna determine what the next number becomes or doesn't become? That's just my thought process.
Yeah, and of course, we just want to be sure before, just like moving forward, that we're not impacting the public too much.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Unfortunately, this is a single case by case basis, so
Yeah.
it would, I mean, we're not establishing a rule that would have broad applicability to future applications. So I think there would be some controls while we kind of fine tune the process.
I would agree with that. I mean, I wanted to try this first primarily because of the circumstances. I knew it was an old floor plan. Very different person coming in. But I wanted to see whether this made a lot more sense because. My experience of dealing with old floor plans is I can't make heads or tails of them. And I think, if I can't, then it needs to be cleaned up in the file.
Yeah, and we appreciate that, but I think the general idea that this is discretionary, this is the board's
Right.
discretion to waive a rule, so all of these are case by case in that sense.
Right, I agree.
And second, we would definitely be looking at these types of requests to make sure it isn't a disguised increase or decrease in the premises, because that's a different request altogether.
Yeah, I agree
under a
with that.
different
too.
Statute.
Yeah.
But the preemptive cleaning up alterations and making sure that you're doing things in a way that's compliant with the rules, I think is a good approach. But by case.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Anything else, Mr. Sato?
That's it.
Thank you. Commissioners, any other questions or comments to either Mr. Sato or the licensee?
I don't have any other questions.
I move we approve request number 24-00473. Actually, I have one question before we go. So then we'll approve the request and then we're just assuming that you'll be supplying the follow-up.
Yeah, I think you should move to approve the request, provided the licensee provided a updated floor plan within 14 days of the completion of the renovation.
Okay. I'm sorry, Mr. Kiyoshi, was that in your request? I saw that you said.
It
would update
wasn't,
the plan.
which is why I add that in,
Okay.
because I add that in the supplemental.
Okay, thank
That's
you.
why when I looked at the floor plans, I said, this would be a really good idea. So
Yeah, we obviously want updated floor
Right.
plans as soon as.
that
They're
should be
available.
part of the motion because that's the requirement.
Does the 14 days after, does that work with the licensing side for the making sure it's?
It's gonna go through investigation, so we're gonna
Okay.
verify it anyway.
Okay. And then before we make that, I have a question. Do we need to put in a motion? These types of things would be on a case by case basis.
I don't think we would put that into the
I
motion.
don't think you need to, because
Okay.
that's how we'll treat it
Yeah,
as the requests come in.
Just want to make sure, because
It's going to be very different than the waiver request, but even the waiver request is really a case by case basis. It depends how long the previous licensee wasn't there, so.
and like I said, all waiver requests
Are
are. case by case
discretionary,
basis, so-
correct,
Yeah.
correct.
okay,
And then, Mr. Sato, if there's a discrepancy that needs to be resolved, that would be for the inspection to bring forward to us.
Correct, and it's gonna require us to check the file and ensure that all the details are correct, and we'll work with Mr. Kyuchi on that.
All right, sounds great. So I move we approve request number 24-00473 with the stipulation that the licensee will provide an updated floor plan within 14 days of completion of work.
Second,
Been a motion and a second. Any objections, reservations here? And seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Request number 24-00473 with the stipulation as stated in the motion is approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm moving into other business, calling agenda item number 15, Assistant Administrator, third review of application number 18-13133 from the Blind Ox LLC.
Well, I regret to advise the commission, there is no one in the audience. I did because I know you were going to ask. On August 28th, we did send by US mail and email to the authorized agent for Blind Ox, which is Mr. Zabakalam of Pacific Business Advocates. So notice was given of this new date, and you may recall that he was on the phone in the airport for the last hearing. So up to you. We can try again to secure a date when someone can appear on behalf of the applicant or licensee.
As I recall, Mr. Zabakalam, who is not representing the applicant here, but he did state that there was some hope that this would be built and open at some point in the future. Now I'm balancing that with the fact that they haven't shown up themselves to say that on the record a few separate times. So, and it's been since 2018. Yeah, so it's been quite a while for this to be pending. Commissioners, any comments?
my comment is, I'm inclined to. In my opinion, we've given them equal chances. With one time where Mr. Zabakalam was here, even though he was not their representative, but could be in contact with the person. The second time we did it, we gave him, he was on the phone, again, he represented not, but he knew them and had this stuff, and we had given him this specific date to know when this was going to happen, whether he had people there or not. And so I'm inclined to not continue because it's been since 2018 and they can start the process over again if they really are, or they could have been here to tell us what their plan was. But that's just my comments. And
So Mr. Ryan, can you go over the kind of process for this? That we would just administratively close out the application?
Yeah,
It's-
according to the rule, basically, what you have the ability to do is to consider the prior granting. Now, we would, I guess we would send a letter to the, to Blind Ox saying, at the hearing after all these continued settings, the commission has reconsidered the prior granting, so basically you do not have this license. Now, if that finally gets attention, they can always come back and ask for a reconsideration. Okay, nothing is literally forever. I mean, but if that doesn't get their attention, then maybe they really don't care, but they would have that ability.
You'd like to make the motion? Commissioner Holland?
so I can make the motion to, that we reconsider the issuance of the applicant, that we provided on March 8th, 2018. Is that correct? The way I said it.
Or would be reconsider the
prior
granting of
granting.
application
Yeah, the
number
prior
18-131.
Yeah, so my motion is gonna be that we reconsider our granting of application number 18-13133.
Second,
There's been a motion and a second. Any objections, reservations? Hearing and seeing none. I also vote aye. The motion carries. Point of order, that's just a motion to reconsider. Do we have to in fact recall that? That granting?
Well, actually, I hesitate to have you deny the thing. Yeah, so you're so like, no action. I mean, it's just because if you deny it, then that actually complicates matters if they do want to return for a reconsideration, so. Reconsider the granting, see, this obviously is not happening before, because I'm having to sit here and think out loud.
I mean, could
But-
we? I guess we already made the motion, but could we do something like an order to show cause as to why we shouldn't deny it?
If you want to straight deny, you cannot apply for another year.
But if all we're doing is reconsidering whether or not we granted it,
Yeah,
what does that mechanically do?
it doesn't have an effect.
But if the commission did not take action, I mean, if they took away the prior approval but did not deny the granted status of the license disappears, it becomes kind of like nothing, I mean, which to me, seems like it would be easier to come back from if they in fact care about this license, although 5 years, 5 years have passed, my gosh, seems kind of.
Would you withdraw the grant?
I mean,
But you want, I mean,
that's my point is all we're doing. is
withdraw the
reconsidering
prior
what's the actual
approval.
Action.
if they withdraw the prior approval, then it just becomes like an application that you could not take action on, when you had right now with a 2-1 or something. Do you think that's preferable?
I think so. Because a straight denial will trigger certain things.
Yeah, so we don't want to actually
You
do
want
that.
to be able to, you want to sort of kick it back to its public hearing phase, right? You withdraw the approval. Or what's the term that you guys were using?
Reconsider the prior granting.
That's what the rule says. I guess the concern is if someone else, not Blind Ox, wants to go in there.
Yeah.
And apply, is it sufficient that there was never any action that the prior approval was withdrawn or reconsidered or whatever we're gonna call it? Cross that bridge when we get to it? I don't know.
So would you prefer to do an order to show cause? And then make a decision and do a straight denial if something shows up?
I don't know. I'm just, my thought process is a motion to reconsider. It's just saying we're reconsidering it. It's not
Right.
saying we're actually doing anything about it,
With the status of the license.
which this is, I mean, practically speaking, agenda item number 15 is a reconsideration.
Yeah.
So it seems to imply we need some further action, whether that's to withdraw the granting or to deny it. I don't know what technically should be the next step, but it seems like to reconsider just keeps us in this ambiguous state.
So if you withdraw the granting, so it's no longer an approved license. And it just unfortunately hangs fire until the end of time. At some point, if someone else who's not Blind Ox wants to apply, then we're just gonna have to make a decision how to describe that other applicant's ability to go in there. I would say that Blind Ox at that point would not be able to say, but I'm already here because they no longer have an approved license.
Yeah.
Does that sound better? I mean, this is imperfect kind of thing, because this has literally never happened since I've been at the commission, where someone just got a granting and just kept on kind of stringing us out
Yeah.
for 5 years.
Never showed up.
Yeah, we've had people come out and say, you know what, I've changed my mind, my circumstances is I'm withdrawing.
Well, okay, so now I think we know the two options, either withdrawing the granting or to a motion to show cause why we shouldn't deny it. What does the commissioners think on either one of those two options?
Another kind of point of order, if we deny it somewhat punishes the owner of that property, because that property cannot have a new license applied for 1 year from the denial.
There'd have to be a
Just
change of
license.
they would have to explain away what previously happened,
But
which is.
the restriction is for this applicant, not the property itself, right? Correct. Yeah, so someone else could go into the premises.
Okay.
But the Blind Ox as an applicant would be restricted, so.
Yeah.
So-
I mean. My own opinion, and I'm okay in either way, but. For me, these guys have had 5 years, and we've given them plenty time to come here and tell us what they want to do with this license. And I'm okay with denying it at this point because, or, you know, because ultimately. They haven't came to say anything. Right now, if we wanna do the other one where we withdraw our approval, I'm fine with that too. I'm just saying that. They haven't came here, so.
And the show cause is like one final step.
And if they don't show up, we're gonna-
Another chance to do this.
Okay.
Yeah, and then, if they don't show up for the order to show cause, we
We're gonna be
default
stuck
them.
here again, right?
But you default them, but they also have notice that the action is. to
Right.
deny.
Right now, they only think that it's a review.
Correct.
Um,
So at least on the agenda, it will be an order to show cause as to. um, As to, the reasons as to not, as to deny. or Being status. Or like that. I don't know. But at least they'll have notice that that's the next one. If it's not. That if they're looking at it tonight. And that maybe that will. Be the thing.
If that's the case, then I'm open to the deny for cause type of thing. But I don't want it to be going on for like another few weeks. I think the next, can we do something like that with 1 week notice, like
Okay,
next meeting?
If I could just
Oh,
one
sorry.
last thing. Okay, so according to the prior review, someone has actually affirmatively came in and asked for these extensions, because we list them in the agenda. So someone knows that this has been happening over the years and has come in and got 1 year and 1 year and so far. If you, I mean, the letter to them, if you withdraw the granting of the license, we would describe that action to the licensee.
But I only
Percent.
see prior reviews 2018 and 2019. I don't see
Oh, beyond then,
beyond that.
Yeah,
So the
probably 'cause we-
2019 6-month extension ended at the end of 2019, so they haven't appeared
from us?
before us or requested a continuance.
probably
since-
because COVID interrupted and
Sure.
this was not high on the list of priorities, but withdrawing the granting of the license would be described as such in the letter to them. I'm probably just trying to get out of drafting an order. to cause. I'm gonna be honest about it, okay?
Okay.
Because I think, no, it's all right, you can say
Which
that
way
to me, I
that
don't
motivates
care.
I saw the M&M peanuts in there. No, I'm kidding.
No, I'm sorry, I just am saying that to be kind of like flippant, but basically whatever you're the most comfortable with, because I think we're gonna end up in the same place next week where the Blind Ox is not gonna have this license anymore. I think they've abandoned it. But we don't know. In order to show cause would be actually served. I think we could arrange to have that served on.
Yeah, I think in a situation like this, where they would be, any sort of due process arguments, we should fulfill any due process requirements, so that when it comes time for them to either complain about it or say that they weren't given due process, we could at least check all the boxes. And Sato did bring something up that we should be clear that it's not a revocation. It's a revocation of a license for different things. But it would be, I guess, the clear way would be to withdraw the approval, right? And then do an order to show cause or whatever, or do some kind of hearing where they would have to make an argument as to why they shouldn't get, their license shouldn't be denied. That's really giving them as much rope as you can to tell them, like, hey, you still have this license. Okay, now you don't almost have this license. Now, why should we not deny you this license? And it's not a revocation under the rules.
Yeah, maybe it's my litigation experience in my head, but I think that provides the most due process and that provides the most clarity as to our position on the matter.
Yeah.
And I agree with Mr. Sato, it's not a revocation. There isn't even a license at this point, so you can't revoke a license that isn't active yet. So it's still clearly in the application stage. But to withdraw that approval and have a motion to show cause as to why we should deny it probably gives this applicant one final bite at the apple. Before, because I don't want it clouding the property by just a simple withdrawal and then it being out there. If they don't want it, they should let it go. And if they do want it, they should show up and tell us that.
So procedurally, we're okay now, and the next time that we meet on this, we would do that, or we.
No, so I would entertain a motion to withdraw the approval. And for a motion in order to show cause as to why this application should not be denied.
So I move that we withdraw the approval and have issue an order to show cause why we should not withdraw the approval.
No, deny the.
Deny the.
Deny application. number.
Deny the application.
Second.
Been a motion and a second. Any objections, reservations? Hearing and seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. The approval is withdrawn. And administration shall submit an order to show cause as to why application number 18-13133 should not be denied. We would expect that order to be drafted in the morning.
Oh, sure. I'll get right on it. As soon as you have them out, y'all can watch me.
8 a.m. That's it. Okay. Commissioners, may I have a motion for agenda item number 16 and 17?
Motion for acceptance of plea and adoption of decision and order for agenda items number 16 and 17.
Second.
Been a motion and a second. Any objections, reservations? Hearing and seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Please accepted and adoption of decision in order for agenda item number 16 and agenda item number 17. Similarly, commissioners, may I have a motion for agenda item number 18 through agenda item number 26 exclusively, or not exclusively, I'm sorry, inclusively.
Motion for adoption of decision and order for agenda items number 18 through 26 inclusively.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any objections, reservations? Hearing and seeing none, I also vote aye. The motion carries. Decision in order is entered for agenda item number 18 through agenda item number 26 inclusively. Moving into other business, agenda item number 27, liquor administrator, administrative matters. Mr. Rai, Mr. Pilos, who wants?
I have nothing to add to my report.
Sal Patilos, Administrative Liquor Commission. I actually want just to ask for your indulgence to allow us another week so that we can speak of more substantive developments rather than just a rote report for you. So next time.
Okay.
Next time it is. Thank you. Any questions from the commission for the administration? Okay, then with that, we are adjourned.